Hello guys and welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to talk about equalization tool, how you can use it, how it can improve your equalization, when you want to start using, etc, etc. So it's really useful tool. This one in particular from Molchanov company, however you can use from any other company, they're doing more or less the same job. And before we continue, my name is Sergey, I'm a freediving instructor trainer. I'm sharing on this channel everything what I personally know about freediving. Alright, equalization tool. So this tool I first time saw probably like 4 years ago or maybe like 3 years ago. Maybe it was used before, however it was less popular, and nowadays probably because like Molchanov start producing this, and then many other companies start producing also the equalization tool, slightly different in shape. Like as far as you know, it's Double K, Octopus doing their own equalization tool, and others as well. So nowadays this is a pretty useful tool which you can see almost any freedivers use, start from complete beginners up to like highly competitive level. I usually introduce this tool for my student on a first or on a second level, and then I highly recommend to use it if they're doing the master course, right? Is it possible to like practice your dry equalization without this tool? Absolutely yes. There is many other equalization exercises which you can do which not requires this tool. However, the exercises with this tool are pretty useful, both for the beginners, as I said, and for the highly advanced freedivers. So I'm thinking to do 2 videos actually, and this first video is going to be how to just use this tool alone, and then the second video, which I'm planning to do relatively soon, it's how to do this, how to use this tool plus the balloon. So I made a video before about how you can use like normal basic balloon to improve your equalization. The link to this video is going to be in the description, but you also can combine balloon and this tool, and then you're going to have a few more really useful exercises. Again guys, like I said, it's absolutely possible to work on your equalization without this tool. However, it will help you a lot. So I personally use it a lot when I need to prepare for my depth training. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to happen anytime soon because it's still time of the coronavirus going on. But I also often use it with my student for variety of levels. Okay guys, first exercise, we're going to use it to improve your Valsalva equalization. Okay, I know that Valsalva equalization, this is what you want to get rid of if you start practicing freediving. However, not often, but sometimes I have students on my first level course which are struggling to do even Valsalva equalization. I even make a video about how to do Valsalva equalization a few months ago. The video is going to be again, link to this video again is going to be in the description. And now how you can use this tool to improve your Valsalva equalization. The problem is like sometimes the people have like issue even just like compress the chest and push the air out of the nose. Like sometimes because maybe they're nervous or something else, they have an issue even with this simple action. So this is how you can use it. First you can start like you can separate these 2 parts, and then you can like use only this part. You can bring it to your nose and just try to push air out of your lungs. So this is a Valsalva equalization when you're compressing your chest and then you're pushing air out through your trachea to your mouth nasal cavity and then into your eustachian tube. Now it's not going into your eustachian tube because the air is coming out through this tool. So first start practicing like this, and then you can again put the second part, and then you can make some resistance. And then make the resistance higher and higher by screw it in, and then it's going to be more like you do Valsalva equalization. Again guys, if you already do Frenzel, of course I'm not going to recommend you to practice Valsalva, it's absolutely not necessary. Just stick with the Frenzel. But if you having hard time even with Valsalva equalization, then this tool can at least help you to learn Valsalva. This alone gonna help you to dive up to 10 meters or slightly deeper, and then it will give you time to like learn Frenzel equalization before you start diving even deeper. Okay, the next exercises is for Frenzel equalization. So remember, for Frenzel equalization you can use a different tongue position. Two basic tongue position is T, it is when your tongue pushing up to the hard palate, right behind your teeth, and then K equalization, it is when you tongue push the hard palate like somewhere in the middle, so it is like, okay, so position for T equalization and for K equalization. So you can practice this equalization with pinching your nose, and then it's actually going to be equalization because you're going to feel popping sound in your ear. However, sometimes it's not the greatest idea because if you're planning to do it like 5-10 minutes, and in the beginning it's quite often happens that freediver pushing too hard, they not controlling how much forcing they produce, and this is why sometimes even after a few like 10-20 minutes of dry equalization the ears start hurting. So this is not gonna happen if you're using equalization tool. So same, I will show you T position first. And then I show you K position. So in this case the air is not going to your Eustachian tube, it's coming out from this tool. This is why you can practice as long as you want, and it's not gonna anyhow making your like ear sore, right? You're not gonna feel any uncomfortable sensation. And then again, because this part can be moved, you can make it smaller. In this case less air is gonna come out, it's gonna be more resistance, and then it's gonna be like closer to what you experience when you do Frenzel equalization, or you can make it bigger, and then it's going to be much more easier. Okay guys, this is how you can use this tool to practice different tongue position. When you're going to reach certain level of experience in this, you can alternate, you can do T, K, T, K, T, K, so something like this. So I can make it a bit smaller. The reason why I'm talking only about T and K tongue position, because I guess most of my viewers is people who diving less than 40 meters, and the other form of equalization, the other tongue position, absolutely not necessary. You can, by the way, also make like a, I think you can call it lip lock. It is when your tongue is relaxed and you just like make your lips tight. This is also possible. So let's say all of these three types, they are pretty much enough to learn how to equalize like up to 40 meters. There is a different tongue position which more useful for the deeper dives, but if you're diving less than 40, like lip locks, T equalization and K equalization position for the tongue is more than enough. So this is the one exercise. Another exercise is going to address the challenge which a lot of students have when they just start diving close to 30 meters or slightly below 30 meters. Then they're having hard time to take the air from the lungs, like to put it in your mouth and then compress and equalize, right? So the challenge, because your lungs becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, and now it's harder and harder and harder to take some air, then close the glottis again and then equalize it. And by the way, if you don't know what is a glottis and soft palate, I highly recommend you to watch my really old video about like Frenzel equalization in general. Then you will understand like all of these terms better, like what is a glottis, what is a soft palate, etc, etc. So guys, I now gonna make it like the hole is pretty big, so it's gonna be less resistance, and then I'm gonna show you like what I mean by like training this part of equalization when you're taking from your lungs. So let's start from the simplest version. I'm gonna inhale and then do my equalization. Okay guys, as you see, I keep doing my equalization. I keep compressing the air in my mouth, and this is what forces the air come out from this tool, and this is why the air in my mouth like gets smaller. This is why I constantly taking additional air from my lungs for further compression. So I take it from the lungs, compress, take it from the lungs, compress, take it from the lungs, compress. So you can make resistance like big and small. What is the benefit of this? If you make it small, then it's going to be a little bit more realistic what you have, and also it's going to take you longer to push air out of your lungs. So this is going to be like kind of equalization plus breath hold. So you can do it over a few minutes, and then you maybe even going to do equalization while you having urge to breathe, while you're having contraction. So this is even better, because remember, when you're going down, it's not the same feeling what you have when you're sitting in a class or at home. You also maybe at the end of your dive can have some urge to breathe. So this is why you want to practice equalization even when you have urge to breathe or when you're close to it. And when you make it bigger, so when you open it like wider, when you create less resistance, then obviously more air is going to escape. And then of course exercise is going to be like smaller, the time is going to be smaller, but in this case you can reach this hardest part when you have like limited amount of air in your lungs. You can reach it like quicker. This is why in the same period of time, in a few minutes, you can work on this hardest part more often. So I recommend to do both. You can maybe do a few times when it is like wide open, when it's not that much resistance, and then you can make it smaller, 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 and then the duration of this exercise is going to be longer until it's going to be impossible for you to equalize, when you're not going to be able to take any more air from your lungs. So there's a different exercise which you can practice to improve your ability to take the air from your lungs. This is what can be called negative packing or abdominal like push, like it's a different techniques. There are many other techniques a part of this training tool. However, I found that this is like more natural and easy to learn, and this is what I like to practice with my masters, and this is what I encourage them to do on their own if they have this tool, to practice at home as long as possible, and then it's gonna give them big improvement, and the depths of 30-35 meters is going to be, they're going to feel much easier in terms of the equalization. Okay guys, this is it. So we discussed 3 equalization exercise, one for Valsalva equalization. Once again, you don't need to do it if you already do Frenzel, and then 2 exercises for Frenzel, one just practicing different tongue position, and one practicing to kind of pumping out the air from your lungs. Remember, you can start this second exercise or even first exercise already with a less air in your lungs. So for example, you can do passive exhale and then practice, or even do like more active exhale. Okay, then even when you start, you already have a small air in your lungs. This is going to be the bigger challenge for you to overcome. So this is going to be a little bit like advanced version of the same equalization exercise. And guys, one more thing, if you do these exercises with the equalization tool, then just make sure that at least maybe 5% of your attention is still towards your relaxation. Make sure you're not practicing your equalization and in the same time you're tense, in the same time your neck or maybe face muscles or shoulders is really tense. This is what we don't want to have. So when you practice equalization exercises, obviously your focus going to be on your glottis, on your soft palate, on your tongue position, but also keep your focus at least partially on how relaxed you are. From time to time, just check if your face muscles relax, if your shoulders relax, if your neck still relax, etc, etc. And if you see that some tension, so first of all make sure to get rid of this tension and then continue your equalization exercises. Okay guys, hopefully this video was useful. Practice these exercises. They're gonna help you to sort out your equalization issues, and then it helps you to dive deeper in a safer, in a more relaxed way. Okay guys, one more time, thank you for watching this video till the end, and I will see you next time.